Okay, this is a book that I'm reading. It's called Awaken, Inside Yoga Meditation, and I can't pronounce the person's name. Reverend Jagannath Carrera. I could be wrong on that, but he's written my very favorite translation of the Yoga Sutra, and this is another book that he's written as well, and it's about meditation. And I'm going to read this one little part because I think it speaks to what our yoga practice offers us a lot. So one of the concepts, any of you who meditate know that when you're one of the aspects of meditation can be to put the object, choose an object of your attention for your attention. So it could be your breath, it could be a candle, it could be a mantra, it could be, a million things to kind of give your mind tool, a mind tool. That's what the word mantra means, mind tool. So that you can focus and kind of hone your attention and bring that skillful means. And this is hard for a lot of us to do, to kind of hold steady with an attention on something. And I loved this little story he wrote about why you would choose an object for your meditation. Um, and I think in our yoga practice, we use sensation as the object of our attention often. And that's a really beautiful way to hone your mind. So maybe think about the way your yoga practice doesn't have to just be in meditation. You can also relay this concept to moving meditations like a walking meditation or yoga or something like that. Okay, so this is about a fox. There was a young fox who was infested with fleas. Try as he might, he couldn't get rid of them. He was plagued by intense itchiness that he had no relief. He felt that he would lose his mind. One day, a wise old fox came his way. He found our young friend writhing on the ground. And the young fox said, or he said, "Young friend, what troubles you so?" "Fleas, I'm infested with them. I can't sleep, I can't rest, nothing helps." "Well, son, I think I can help you, but you need to do exactly as I say. I'm at my wit's end. I'll do whatever you say." "Fine. Take this stick and put it in your mouth. Now walk over to the edge of the pond. Slowly walk into the water, but only until the water reaches your ankles." And the young fox did just as the old fox suggested, although he couldn't imagine what all this had to do with his plight. "Okay, son, now slowly walk in a little deeper, but just up to your knees." The old fox continued with his instructions, gradually guiding the younger one deeper into the pond. Finally, when only his snout, eyes, and stick were above the water, he could see that the fleas, to avoid the water, had all gathered on his snout. And now the old fox instructions were beginning to make sense. Go a little deeper until only your nostrils are above the surface. Good. Now take a deep breath and duck underwater so that only the stick is above the surface. And the young fox saw that all the fleas were now on the stick. The last instruction was obvious and welcome. Okay, let go of the stick. The stick is the object of meditation, and the fleas are the thoughts that hop in and out of our awareness. The energy of all of our thoughts becomes absorbed into the object of meditation. Eventually, in deep meditation, the object of meditation, like the stick, will naturally float away, leaving the mind clear and calm. So, I mean, that's easier said than done, right? But our jumpy mind can very much feel like the plight of fleas at times, where it can be relentless. The clouding over of that still mind by our thoughts. So recognize, we don't do a lot of meditation in this class because it's a yoga class, not a meditation class. But notice how when you come into your practice, you might have a lot happening in your mind or in your emotional states, or your body might be feeling cranky in some way. And then you move through your practice and suddenly there's a quieting of all of that flotsam, the turbulence, and we get to be fully present in the experience of now. and that includes our body. So, sensation in the body is a great tool for us to bring our mind's awareness to help us find the reprieve that present moment awareness, that being settled in present moment awareness can give us. So just pay attention to that as you practice today. Recognize that this happens, that this is part of your practice, and maybe have a little moment of gratitude throughout your practice for the ways in which present body awareness gives us ease of mind. All right, so sit up straight and tall and take a moment to close your eyes and just feel your way into a grounded state. So, what does that even mean, a grounded state? It's layered, right? Like we can't automatically like sink. Sometimes it takes some time to feel our way down. So notice where you're touching the ground. Can you feel the impact of your sit bones making contact with whatever you're sitting on? Can your legs dissolve just a little bit more? Can you rest them? Can you notice if you're holding or gripping, especially through your hip flexors? See if you can melt and relax. And you might need to adjust and change how you're sitting for that to occur. See what it feels like to have the roots, but also the space, that sense of both stability and ease. And it may not be fully here yet. We're just beginning, but sense what you can do to cultivate a little bit of that balance. Once you feel the upright nature of your spine, relax your shoulders and feel a softening through your face and your neck. Maybe help your palms stay soft and relaxed. And once you feel like your body, you've kind of touched some various places and come into a knowing of where you are, let's move our attention now into our breathing. Such a tried and true object of meditation is the breath. Try to observe natural breathing as best as you can. Pay attention to anything you feel first. Could be your lungs, could be your nose, could be the temperature of air moving in and out of your nostrils. Okay, so try to just notice what catches your attention about your breath. Soften through your jaw. Stay at ease through your eyes. Always remember, when we're trying to harness the mind, the more you try to control and grasp and push, the more elusive it becomes. That it's okay to notice the wanderings and to bring yourself back gently, compassionately, kindly. Bring yourself back. Feel ready. Let's bring our hands together at our heart and feel the subtlety of this as our attention. Can you feel your hands touching each other? Can you notice the third eye and that sense of inner vision looking toward that centering of the hands? Let's offer an intention here. Let's release your hands and let's find our way to our mat. So as you stretch out and lengthen, see what it feels like to have a new framing of your relationship with gravity. All right, let's stretch our arms overhead and enjoy the deep reaching. So the right arm, the left arm, like let's just open up and feel that nice, beautiful stretch and lengthen. Something as simple as this, what are you noticing, and have you noticed that the sensation that you're feeling is drawing your attention? Okay. Bring your knees into your chest and let's rock a little bit, a little swaying from side to side. Okay. Hang on to your knees and let's roll a little bit, kind of moving in one direction, moving in another. Open up the knees and bring them back in so we have this sense of spaciousness through our joints. Okay. Right knee into your chest, left leg long on the ground, and let's feel that compression. Let your head be at ease here. Soften your shoulders down, move your ankles, roll around in your feet. Sense what you're sensing. Every time you have a new sensation to pay attention to, notice how it draws you in, draws your attention to the here and now. Switching sides, left knee into your chest, right leg long on the ground, and let's go ahead and move. Keep moving those ankles and wiggling your toes and feeling that sense of mobility. Okay. And then stretch your body like a big star on the ground and reach your limbs wide. Let's roll our wrists, roll our ankles, maybe open and close your fists. Just feel the very edges of your body. And then when your next exhale comes, pick up your head, draw your knees in. One more time, expanding outward. Exhale, drawing inward. Put your head down onto the ground, arms out to the side. Let's windshield wiper your knees left and right, just getting a little bit of mobility in your back and in your hips. Let's roll all the way to your side and come up to your hands and your knees. All right, so as you find your way onto all fours, let's begin with some cat-cows. Feeling the nice movement of your spine, arching your back, rounding your spine, taking your time, moving through each vertebrae one by one, see what you notice. And of course, if you find a spot in your movings, and of course you can get away from cat-cows and do any kind of movement you want in your spine now, but when you find a place in whatever path you're moving, that is a very nurturing place where you're like, oh, I need that. That's something that my body really is craving. Feel free to linger and stay. Try not to always feel like you have to do a prescribed set of movement patterns, but you can be very curious and exploratory about something very particular. When you're ready to join, stretch back towards child's pose. Walk the hands out in front of you. Feel a sense of softness through your skull. Breathing deeply. Let's walk our hands over to one side. See what it feels like to have some length and space here. Dropping your sit bones down. Okay, over the other way, feeling that reach in the side of your body. Open up your lats. Breathe into your lungs. And come back to center. Come up onto all fours again. Curl your toes under. Let's lift to a dog pose. All right, so take some time pedaling your feet. You can drop one heel and then drop the other, and notice your legs again, opening up your calves, opening up your Achilles, opening up your feet. Maybe your hamstrings are starting to feel it. Make sure you pay attention to your hands as well. Root well into the four corners of your hands. Feel that extension. Notice if you're collapsing in your shoulders at all. Do you need some space? All right, then walk your feet forward and come to Uttanasana, a deep forward fold here. Inhale for a halfway lift, getting a little longer in your spine. Exhale to melt again. All right, let's inhale, rise all the way up, reaching the arms to the sky, feeling that extension. Lean back a little bit if it feels good for your body. Let's cactus open the heart here, squeeze through your shoulders. Inhale, back up again. One more time. Cactus the arms. All right, and reach them up high. Interlace them behind your back. Take your strap, if you need a strap instead of interlacing, open up through the front of your chest. Feel your heart expand, your collarbones expand. And then when you're ready, bend your knees and lean forward. Let your hands leave your spine. Let your head dangle and open up through the fronts of your shoulders. Breathing deep and well. Okay. Relax and melt your arms down. Inhale for a halfway lift. Find your flow again. Okay, let's step back to a dog pose. All along the spine, feel that spaciousness. See what it feels like to root and rise. Open yourself up. Come forward into a plank, holding a steady, sturdy pose here. Shoulders away from the ears. Find your core. Breathing well. Stretch your heels all the way back. Open your calves up a little bit while you're here. Okay, let's find the ground. All the way down. A couple of shoulder rolls. Inhale for a cobra pose. The chest gets big and broad and open. Exhale. Melting back down. Let's try one more time. Open up the front of your body. Exhale. And release. Come up on all fours. Swivel around in your spine. Let's lift the right arm up in the air. Exhale, take that shoulder down, twist here, thread the needle. Breathing deeply, breathing fully. Notice how the breath moves in and out. Face the ground a little bit more. So coming out of the pose a little bit. Open up the back side of the shoulder. And then inhale, reach that arm all the way back to the air. Hand comes down onto the ground. Switching sides, taking the other arm up. Thread the needle when you're ready, taking that arm underneath you, twisting to this side. Notice what you're feeling. Relax your neck. Pay attention to how your breath is making your torso feel as you inhale and exhale. And then come out a little bit so you're facing the ground, stretching the shoulder a little bit differently. And now bring that arm all the way back up to the sky, hand down onto the ground again. And let's find dog pose. Pedal your feet, take some time, bending one knee, straightening the other, just feeling some openness in your hips and in your sides and in your hamstrings. Deep breath in, deep breath out. Walk your feet forward, come to Uttanasana again. Inhale for a halfway lift.
Exhale to fold. Take your feet a little wider so they are at the edges of your mat and come down to a squat. Elbows inside your knees. Find your breath here. Okay. Draw your elbows draw your shoulder blades down your back a little bit. Ground the four corners of your feet. Slowly, slowly start to push up straight and tall. Standing star. Exhale, come right back down into a squat. Notice if you like one foot more than the other, if you tend to weight yourself into one leg more than the other. This is common if you've had an injury or if you just have a weakness pattern on one side. One more time, inhale, standing up straight, find your standing star. And then bring your feet back to a neutral place and bring your hands straight down. Palms together at your heart. Let's check in. How is that fluctuating mind doing? You know, when we think of the Yoga Sutra, the very first sutra is yoga is offered to help us calm the fluctuations of the mind. This is the purpose, right? And the gift that comes from our practice. So notice if just a few minutes of being in your body has given your mind rest, if there's some ease from the constancy of concern or worry, thinking about the past or the future, just let yourself be here. Release your hands. And let's go ahead and grab some blocks. Take your left foot back, come to a lunge with your right foot in front, and place your back knee down on the ground. Let your hip flexor start to open here. Open your heart up. Feel that chest expand. All right, and then lift your knee up off the ground and let's start to move, bending and straightening that front leg. Notice your breath. Ground ourselves. Inhale, rising up, crescent lunge, arms coming up to the sky. Feel a little bit of an open heart here. And then if you can, interlace your hands behind your back. You can always use a strap if you need. You can have bend to elbows to begin, but then straighten your elbows and try to lift the heart. Notice if your low back is getting crunchy. See if you can use your core to help you lift off your pelvis. Opening that front hip flexor a lot, opening the chest and the shoulders. And then release your hands down, back foot comes forward, a deep fold. Open your back. Inhale, halfway lift, extending the spine. Melt to fold again. Step back with your other foot. Now our left is in front. Put your knee down. Feel that hip flexor open up. Just give yourself an opportunity to sense the sensation in the front of that right hip. Lift the heart. You can go as high up on your blocks, even onto your knee if you'd like. Curl your toes under, lift that back knee up off the ground, and let's start to move here, bending and straightening your front knee, feeling your way. Right, come to a lunge, ground yourself. Inhale, rising up, feeling extension and length in the body. See what it feels like to lift yourself off your hips. Feel the ribs lift off your hips. And then keep that lift as you take your hands, interlace them the weird way behind your back, open up across the fronts of your shoulders, engage your core some so that you have support for your spine as it lifts up. Try not to sink down. It sometimes helps to bend the back knee just a little bit to give you a better angle for your pelvis to support that lifted spine.
Hug your shoulder blades toward each other. And then release your hands down onto the ground, and let's take a dog pose again. Extending through your spine here, breathing well. Inhale, come forward to a plank. Grounding the four corners of your hands. Push the ground away. And knees can come down, find the ground. Do a couple of shoulder rolls. Let's know where your shoulders are. Inhale, cobra. Big open chest. Exhale and relax to come back down. Come up on tall fours. Let's come onto our back for a moment. Okay, a little bit different angles. So instead of opening the chest, we're going to bring the arms across in front of us. We're going to do some eagle poses on the ground. Okay, so let's start with the left arm over the right arm and the right leg over the left leg, and pick your knees up. Let's squeeze our legs, squeeze your arms. Take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, touch your elbows and knees. Inhale to come back down. Exhale to come up. Let's do 5. Find your breath. Keep squeezing your legs. Let's do 2 more. And then unwind this posture to a big star on the ground and feel the balance of compression and then expansion. And draw your knees into your chest. Put your feet on the ground. Let's switch sides. Right arm over left arm. And if you have trouble with this pose, you can always just hold your shoulders. You don't have to hold the arms, okay? Now, left leg on top of right leg. Lift up your legs, take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, elbows and knees come in to each other. Feel that compression, drop your ribs down. Squeeze your legs. Squeeze your arms, notice your neck. Try not to take any strain in your neck as you do the posture. And last one. And then this time, instead of starting yourself on the ground, arms overhead, legs up in the air, and let's keep our legs up, but widen your legs apart, create that letter V, take your arms wide apart, and then legs back up, arms back up overhead. Twice more, wide V with your arms and your legs, back to center. Knit your ribs down toward the ground. All right, tuck to a little ball. Let's roll to the side and come up to your hands and your knees. Find a little bit of movement in your spine. Wag your tail or do some cat-cows. Find something that feels really nice. Curl the toes under and lift on up. Feel that extension and breath. Walk your feet forward. All right, inhale, come all the way up. Bring the arms to the sky and then release them down. And again, just notice a little pause where we kind of just pay attention to the grounding forces. Feel your feet. Feel the fullness of your breath. Eyes open or eyes closed, doesn't matter. You might want your eyes open as we start to do a little balance work here. We're going to start, and you can hold on to something for this if you need it. We're going to start just by standing on our right leg, and you can bring your left foot up in the air behind you. You don't have to bring your knee up. You can have your knee is kind of finding neutral down, your left knee. So we're just keeping our left foot off the floor. Take a deep breath, and we're going to very slowly lower down, and you can be holding something or you can be balancing with arms out. and then slowly come back up. And just pay attention. You can also have your hands together, whatever's going to help your balance. But pay attention to what's working: core, glutes, pelvic floor. Don't forget all those muscles in addition to your hamstring and your quad. Okay. Let's do one more where we slowly drop down and then slowly come back up. And then let's put 2 feet on the ground and just wait for a moment until you feel that balancing of your forces one more time. Let's be so thankful that we can manage ourselves on one leg. Every time you walk up and down a flight of stairs, you're engaging these kinds of muscles. So having some good concentric and eccentric strength in our quads is very helpful to keep us able not only to balance, so coming down and slowly coming back up, but also to keep us able to go up and down, whether it's up and down a mountain or up and down a flight of stairs. How's your breath? One more time. Notice if there's wobble. For me, I notice I have, one knee that's less stable than the other. And when I stand on this leg, it's a lot more wobbly. So notice if you have some, weakness patterns where that wobble starts to show itself. Okay. All right, so stand on your 2 feet and just enjoy. Now we're going to do this with 2 feet on the ground now. So feet are going to be facing forward, hip width or a little bit wider apart. I like slightly wider, but you do you. Okay, but we're going to keep our feet pointing straight forward. So don't turn out. So you don't want to have your feet too wide, your legs too wide. All right, and we're going to just slowly bring our palms out in front of us, down or up with your palms, and we're going to squat down and then slowly come back up. Let's try to move, fairly slowly. So we're not, doing a quick squat like this. We're doing a slower squat. If you have a leg that is very, reluctant to be the leader for whatever patterned reason that is, let's see if you can hone your attention into that joint, whether it's an ankle, a knee, a hip, your back, whatever joint you feel is what's hindering smooth motion here. Bring your awareness and give everything you can to that joint. Hug your muscles onto your bones. Make sure you're using your core. It's very easy to forget about all those stabilizing muscles that can help us. Your pelvic floor and your core are here. Find your breath moving nice and slow. Sometimes when I pay attention to the joint that's bothering me and I give it a little moment and I try to use all the muscles around it, I find myself getting more stable. So try to get away from compensatory patterns. Bring yourself to the pattern that we're trying to create and just do the best that you can. Okay, one more. Slow and steady. Big breath in, big breath out. Okay, we're gonna stand on our right leg now. So we're gonna get into that one-legged posture. You can always change the arm position and hold on to something, or you can put your butt against something, against a piece of furniture or a wall for eagle pose if you need some balance help. We're gonna stand on our right leg, cross the left leg over, okay? Other arm on top, right arm on top, left leg on top. We're standing on our right leg. If you come out, all you do is tap. It's okay, just tap and find your way back in. Don't worry about hooking your foot. You can if you want. Squeeze your legs, squeeze your arms, squeeze, 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 squeeze. Try to stretch your feet a little bit. Lift your chest a little bit more. Engage your core, knit your ribs in, squeeze your legs. Soften your gaze. And then we'll come out of the pose for a big, wide standing star. Open up all the pathways. Release your arms down, standing on the left leg. If you need balance, I think the best way is to put your butt against something so that you can do the arm motion too, but you follow what's right for your body, okay? Once you get your legs organized, get your arms organized. So left arm's on top, right leg's on top. We're standing on our left leg. Deep breath in, face forward with your hips, your chest, lift your chest, try not to lean over, drop your shoulders, stretch the top of your shoulders, squeeze your legs, squeeze your arms, deepen your breath into your ribs, into your armpits, soften your eyes. And then when you're ready, we can stand to a standing star again. Full breath. And let's come down to a dog pose. And notice when you come into a dog pose after balance, is there something soothing about being close to the ground? Can you notice that sense of 4 points of contact? It's a very stable pose. And then come forward into a plank, holding yourself steady. Push the ground away, root your index finger mounds a little bit more. All right, and lower all the way to the ground. Roll the shoulders. Inhale, a cobra or any other back bend that you love in your body. Melt to release. Come up onto your hands and your knees, swivel around in your spine, curl the toes under, a dog pose. Walk your feet forward when you're ready. Take your time. If you're really loving the dog pose, hang out. Forward fold. Let your head dangle. Enjoy how close to the ground your face is. Enjoy the 2 points of contact with your feet. Inhale, a halfway lift. Melt to fold again. Push off your feet. See if you can lift your chest and slowly stand up. Okay, let's take our legs a little bit wider now. Okay, different muscle groups when we squat with wide legs than when we squat with narrow legs. So let's slide our hands down toward our knees and then come sliding back up. Nice and slow. Again, it doesn't matter how deep you go in these postures. See if you can find symmetry in your legs. Open up your knees. Let your hands sliding down help you to open up and encourage those knees. I'll stay here in this wide stance. You can put your arms in a different position if you'd like, or let them be here and focus on lifting your chest instead of leaning forward. Round through the 4 corners of your feet. Drag your toes back toward the wall behind you, heels forward, so you feel a lot of that muscular engagement, not just in your legs, but in your glutes. Open chest. And then come all the way up to stand. Turn your right foot out. Come into Parsva Konasana. Elbow on your knee. And enjoy all this room. We did that compression. You know, the eagle poses are so compressive. Let's feel expansive now. Open up through the hip, the ribs, the shoulders. See what kind of length and space your body can find. Noticing sensation. Straighten up that leg, and we'll turn our feet to the second side. As you come down, track that knee well, elbow over or on top of your knee, stretch your arm overhead and enjoy all the space. Keep a sense of ease across the base of your skull. Let your shoulders drop down, let your tail drop toward your back foot, and from that grounded space, reach through your shoulder, your ribs, Find the roots and find the open space. How's your breath? Come all the way back up. Feet are wide, heel toe your feet, or just come back toward this neutral territory. I'm gonna do a little bit, I find this to be kind of pulling a few of those things we've already done together, where we're balancing on one foot, we're finding extension and also compression, okay? So very simply, you can bring your hands together to your heart. We're gonna, I'll move the block so you can see me. We're gonna bend into one knee and curtsy squat, okay? And then come on up and go to the other side. Notice what you're noticing. Maybe you're noticing compression. Maybe you're noticing expansion. Maybe you're noticing a little bit of balance as you bring that foot back. Maybe you're noticing some grounding. Maybe you're noticing rhythmic breathing. Now, if you want an extra little bit of challenge, you can keep doing what we're doing. A little extra bit of challenge is don't touch. The back foot stays up. And you just kind of like a one-legged chair pose with that foot kind of tucked behind. Of course, you can be doing the version where your foot touches down. You can go a little deeper in that way. Okay, let's do one more set. Pause in Tadasana. All right, so notice your breath, notice your heart, notice your feet, unlock your knees, notice your pelvis, notice your diaphragm, notice your open shoulders, the softness of your face, and the ease of your hands, the melting of the base of your skull. And last time through vinyasa, so let's come forward into the front of your mat. Inhale, arms come up. Exhale, floating forward, let your back open. Feel the symmetry. Inhale for a halfway lift. Exhale and fold. Step back to a dog. Maybe you want your legs a little wider. Maybe you want them more narrow. Find your breath. Let's come forward into a plank. Holding yourself steady. All right, find the ground. Any back bend that you want. Come back up. Wag your tail. And let's find a child's pose. All right, now as you come into this posture, feel how grounding it is. Feel how stable it is. There's no balance. You're so close to the ground. You can have your arms overhead or relaxed a little bit or down at your sides. You know, what feels nice. And let's open up the sacrum. And come forward onto all fours, and let's bring our right foot forward to a lunge. Add some padding underneath that back knee. Now we're going to do a quad stretch here. So if you know that reaching back to grab your foot is not an option for you, then instead of doing this pose, you lie down on your side and grab your ankle and do a quad stretch here. You can have a little support with a block, and we'll do both sides that way. If you're coming into
the lunge, and maybe you need a strap to wrap around your foot. So just kind of see what your body needs for this quad and hip flexor stretch. Let's come down and put our left hand on a block or on the ground, whichever feels better for you. And we'll reach back and grab our left foot with our right hand. And if this is not a good pose for your knee or for your back, you come onto your side and do the quad stretch that way. Shoulders down, collarbones wide, hug to the midline with your legs, open up your quad. Let's relax. Maybe a little half Hanumasana just for changing the direction of your quads for a minute. And then we'll switch sides. If you're on your side, go ahead and roll over to the other side. If you're in your lunge, first just gather up your lunge. Notice where you are. You can have your right hand on a block or on the ground. Reach back with your left arm and grab your right foot. You can wrap a strap around your foot. It's important that you're not on the center of your kneecap. Roll forward so you're on the bottom edge of your quads instead of your kneecap. Hug toward the midline with your knee. Shoulders down, collarbones wide. Breathing deeply. Maybe a half Hanumasana if you'd like. Okay. And then relax. Now we're all going to come into a hip stretch. You can come into a pigeon pose. You could come into a reverse pigeon pose. You could be on your back and put your thigh over your thigh like cow face pose or eagle pose leg. You could sit in Agni Sambhasana, fire log pose if you'd like. So just kind of find a fave, what something that just brings a little bit of happy joy in your body. Okay. Don't always have to do the ones that you don't like. I always encourage you to make sure you include poses in your practice that your body can do, but you just don't like. Now, if there's trouble in joints and your body isn't well suited for a pose, that's a different story. But it's important that you do poses you don't like to do, but it's also important to do poses you do like to do. Okay, so choose a hip pose you like to do right now. All right, so if you're in pigeon, you can come rest your head on a block. If you're in reverse pigeon, just make sure your head is at ease on the ground. And no matter what pose you're doing, fire log or on your back or in your front, make sure your spine stays spacious and your pelvis stays square. Keep your breath moving. Be curious about what you're feeling. Again, these are the objects of our attention. When we bring our awareness to sensation, we suspend a lot of the agitation in our minds. If the sensation is agitating, bring yourself to your breath and smooth the wrinkles in your sheets with your breath. Okay, so if there's any agitation, let those exhales help you. Long, steady exhales. Out of that posture and come to the other side. Maybe you need a little bit of adjusting. One side does not match the other side. So do anything you need to support yourself. Different joints need different things. Stay with your breath. Stay with the elongated spine and the square pelvis. Make sure your head is at ease, your neck is at ease. That pose when you feel ready. We'll come onto our back. And bring your knees into your chest. And let's do a twist. Hips over to the right, knees come up and drop left, and just enjoy. Back up over to the other side. Back up. A little bit of rocking, knees to chest, maybe a bit of a happy baby, maybe a little bit of rocking plow. Just see what feels good in your body. And then as we come towards Shavasana, do all the maintenance of Shavasana that's required. Make sure you're warm. Make sure you don't have bright lights on you. Make sure that you have the props that you need so your body's at ease. All the things that help you kind of set the tone for a good Shavasana. And then once you are ready to be still, take a moment to drop your body, consciously drop your body. Pay attention to how your head feels on the ground. Let it rest. Let it get more spacious. Relax your shoulders. Notice your breath. Notice the weight of your body on the ground. Notice the weight of your head. And let's invite a little bit of mobility. You can do small movements or big movements, whatever feels good in your body. Eventually coming onto your side. As you work your way up to a comfortable seat, pay attention to how you feel. Okay, so when you find your way to a seated posture, notice what your practice has given you. And every day is a little different, you know. Some days your practice feels very profound in its impact. Some days it's just the daily dose of another coin in the bank. Okay, so but just pay attention to your awareness of yourself. Ready? Let's bring our hands together at our heart. Open your big heart and send out your love to wherever you'd like to place it. Namaste. Thank you, everyone.